So now, ladies and gentlemen, live and in colour, it's Mr. Wayne Lovejuice.
The other day our producer Louis had a chat with an interesting chappie who said that the YouTube algorithms really aren't that happy if a channel only broadcasts once a week, so we decided we could text ya whenever we've got a piece of news in our new book on the track extra. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Downs. I'm the director of the Centre for Fortean Zoology, and this young lady here is Lilith Tinkerbell, my little cat. Every Wednesday evening at about 6:30 and every Saturday afternoon at about 3, we bring you a half-hour show on Saturdays and a quarter of an hour show on Wednesdays about hard science, weird shit, and surreality. What's surreality, Cat?
I'm not going to tell you because you're all too stupid.
And if the addition of a bad-tempered talking cat doesn't tell you what surreality is, then I'm afraid you're probably never going to understand. Regular viewers of the show will remember that my old friend Miss Maxine is in the habit of sending me interesting things. And the latest of these interesting things is this: a leucistic penguin. Well, biologically there's no reason why there shouldn't be a leucistic penguin, but it had never occurred to me that such a thing would exist. Because, let's face it, when you talk about colour schemes and penguins, the first thing that comes to your mind is black and white, not a rather pretty collection of dappled yellows. So I decided to look up, are leucistic penguins a regularly known thing, or is this a one-off? Well, I looked it up on Google image search, and yes, there are lots of pictures of leucistic penguins, but if you look at them closely, the vast majority of the ones which you can see are actually pictures of the same bird that Maxine sent me. But here's one. This is a leucistic, because it says that it's an albino, but you can see its eyes are not red, so it is almost certainly a leucistic king penguin chick. This is a remarkable little bird, and it will be interesting to see what he or she grows up into.
John, young people don't know much about little birds. The only little birds we know about are the mini helicopters that you get in Call of Duty, which the Spec Ops soldiers drop into the battlefield on.
Louis, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Google it and then put up a picture on the show. I'm making an executive producer decision.
Oh God. Well, I'm really not sure what that picture that Louis just sent me brings to the table, but I don't understand most of the things that young people talk about these days, so I'm sure it has some sort of relevance. Anyway, we already know what an adult king penguin with leucism is going to look like, because it was a leucistic king penguin that Maxine originally sent me the pictures of. But look, here are several other species of penguin showing leucistic colour morphs. I'd never heard of Isabellinism, but it is a genetic pigmentation disorder derived from the colour word, because Isabellin is a particular type of yellow. Of course, I'd heard of birds like the Isabellin shrike, but I had never connected them with their colour. In fact, I'd always assumed, if I'd thought about it at all, that the Isabellin shrike was named after somebody called Isabella, probably the famous Spanish queen of the same name, after whom I named a cat that I had many years ago. But no, and it is a form of leucism caused by a uniform reduction in the production and expression of melanin, resulting in areas of plumage on the back of the bird, which are normally black, being strongly faded or isabelline in appearance. Isabellinism has been reported in several species of penguin. However, only about 1 in every 50,000 penguins possess this trait. It is also the colour of egg white. Here is a leucistic gentoo penguin, and here is a leucistic Adele penguin. And once again, everything that I thought I knew about this species of penguin was wrong. I had assumed, like so many other places in the southern hemisphere, including the city of Adelaide, that it had been named after Queen Adelaide, the wife of William IV. But no, it was actually named after this lady, Adele Dumont d'Urville, who was born Adele Dorothy Pepin, also spelt as Adelaide, who lived between 1798 and 1842, was the wife of French explorer Jules Dumont d'Urville, after whom Adelaide Land, Adele Island, Adelaide Penguin and Cape Pepin are named. Whilst the geographic locations are of course named after the explorer's wife, the penguin is named after this lady. No, of course it's not. It's actually named after the island, Adelaide Island, where it was first found. It's the most widely distributed of all the penguins, found along the complete coast of Antarctica, and along with the emperor penguin, it's the penguin found furthest south. And just to bring my partial, and I'm saying partial because I'm absolutely certain that there are going to be many more species of penguin that exhibit these colour variants, but to bring up my partial investigation of such things to an end, here is a leucistic Magellanic penguin, and here, just to show that the exact opposite is possible, is a melanistic king penguin. And what an entertaining and enlivening rabbit hole the picture which Miss Maxine sent me has sent us down. I've always liked the way that one can go off onto a little journey of discovery whenever one starts looking at the details of even a single species. Back when I used to do school visits, I played a game with the kids which I called Every Animal Tells a Story, and they would shout out to me their favourite animal, and I would tell them a really weird or peculiar fact about it, and preferably something of cryptozoological importance. And as most of them were about 7 or 8, and they shouted out dog, cat, guinea pig, or rabbit, or whatever animal they had at home, this was relatively easy. But I have found, since I've been doing these shows, that this is something that I end up doing more and more and more. I want to apologise to everybody this evening. I'm not very well. In fact, I'm far from well, and I'm feeling completely bongo, and I'd be much happier if I could just go to bed and hide from the world. But I can't, partly because of all people Richard Muirhead, who's a dear sweet person whom I have known for over 50 years, is coming down to visit, and I do not want to be in bed when he arrives. I want to stay up and say, "Hello Richard, how are you, dear boy? Sit down and have a cup of tea." So I'm staying up to talk to Richard. I'm probably going to go to sleep in my chair. Thank you very much to Miss Maxine for sending this picture along, and thank you very much to the kids in the school in Stoke-on-Trent, with whom I first played Every Animal Tells a Story, and who I think of every time I do the same thing these days. So, I'll be back on Saturday. What am I doing on Saturday? I sort of know. but I can't remember all of it. We're going to be talking about a really scary and science fiction-y like insect, and we're also going to be having an interview with Daniel Perez, one of the world's leading Bigfoot researchers. And I'll be back next Wednesday. And what will be in next Wednesday's show? Well, it'll be something featuring Richard Muirhead and or Richard Freeman, but I have no idea what, so you're just going to have to wait. Are you ready, Mr. McCrinnan? I won't have any slouching about here. Come on, Mr. McCrinnan, get on your starting gate. Because if you're going to be watching the show next Wednesday, then I'll be seeing you.